U.S. President Joe Biden has emerged from isolation after a 5-day period during which he had COVID-19. We get the details from VOA's chief national correspondent, Steve Herman in Washington.
Speaking for nearly 10 minutes in the White House Rose Garden on Wednesday, President Biden declared himself fully recovered from COVID-19 after he tested negative.
My symptoms were mild, my recovery was quick, and I'm feeling great.
Biden also noted the contrast between his experience with COVID-19 compared to his immediate predecessor, Donald Trump, who became infected before vaccines were available and treatment options were limited.
When my predecessor got COVID, he had to get helicoptered to Walter Reed Medical Center. He was severely ill. Thankfully, he recovered. When I got COVID, I worked from upstairs of the White House, and the office is upstairs, and for that 5-day period.
The president said while the coronavirus is still with us, especially the highly infectious BA.5 variant, COVID-19 deaths are down nearly 90% from when he took office in January of 2021 due to widespread vaccinations and Paxlovid, a pill Biden described as a life-saving drug. Steve Herman, VOA News, Washington.
Ukrainian troops have struck a strategic bridge essential for Moscow to supply its forces occupying the country's south. The deputy head of the Moscow-appointed administration for the Kherson region says the Ukrainian military struck the Antonovsky Bridge across the Dnieper River late Tuesday. He said the bridge remains standing, but its surface is pierced with holes, forcing a halt to traffic. The nearly 1-mile-long bridge sustained serious damage in previous Ukrainian shelling last week. U.S. President Joe Biden and China's Xi Jinping will speak Thursday, according to a U.S. official, coming amid new tensions between Washington and Beijing over China's claims on Taiwan. Beijing warns it will take forceful measures if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visits the self-ruled island that China claims as part of its territory. If she does, AP correspondent Donna Warder reports the Pentagon is developing plans.
Officials tell the Associated Press that if Nancy Pelosi flies to Taiwan, the military would likely provide overlapping rings of protection with fighter jets, ships, surveillance, and other military systems in the air and on the ground. Pelosi would be the highest-ranking U.S. elected official to visit Taiwan since 1997. Discussion of a trip comes at a time when China has escalated what the U.S. and its allies in the Pacific describe as risky one-on-one confrontations with other militaries. China considers self-ruling Taiwan its own territory and has raised the prospect of annexing it by force. President Joe Biden said last week that a Pelosi trip to Taiwan is, quote, not a good idea right now, end quote. Donna Warder, Washington.
The UN Rapporteur on Violence Against Women urged Turkey Wednesday to reverse its decision to drop out of a European treaty combating gender-based abuses. The treaty requires member states to adopt legislation that strictly punishes domestic abuse and gender-based violence. Japan's Minister for Gender Equality called the country's dangerously low births and plunging population a national crisis and blamed indifference and ignorance in the male-dominated Japanese parliament for the neglect. People in a southwestern Japanese city have come under attack from monkeys that are trying to snatch babies and biting and clawing at flesh. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma has more.
User-generated content footage shows a monkey at the door looking for a way into a resident's apartment. Authorities in Yamaguchi say a woman was assaulted while hanging laundry on her veranda, while another victim has had her toes bitten. People say they've been taken aback and frightened by how big and fat the monkeys are. The species is the Japanese macaque, the kind often pictured peacefully bathing in hot springs. The attacks, nearly 60 since early July, are getting so bad Yamaguchi City Hall has hired a special unit to hunt the animals with tranquilizer guns. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And recapping our top story, U.S. President Joe Biden has emerged from isolation after a 5-day period during which he had COVID-19.
Hi, thank you for watching. I hope the videos are useful for you. Please subscribe to my channel using the button below.